In this video, we'll talk about how highly successful people develop self-discipline. What most people have in common with successful people is ambition, but where certain fall short and others excel is in the area of self-discipline. According to Dennis Prager, happiness is dependent on self-discipline. The biggest hurdle in achieving our goals is how easily we let ourselves be distracted by things that do not count as progress towards our achievements. However, practicing self-discipline is not easy and demands real commitment. In order to develop self-discipline, you must follow certain steps that will help you attain your goals. Here are the top habits of successful people that helps maintain self-discipline, which ultimately helps them achieve their goals. Vision. Highly successful people know exactly where they want to be in life. They know exactly where you want to go. It is impossible to be successful without knowing where you want to be. In order to be successful, create a vision board. Curate pictures and quotes that motivate you to achieve what you want and look at it before you start your day. This will help you align your tasks with goals. In order to visualize, you must have a conscious purposefulness, which helps you in clearing up your headspace. Prioritize. Another thing about self-disciplined people is that they finish their important tasks before they allow themselves any indulgences. It's very important to prioritize everything so that you face less distraction during your day. Getting important tasks done first relieves the pressure of an undone task and also gives you plenty of time to be productive for the rest of the day. For instance, if working on your next project will help you be successful in the future, then it's important you work on it before you let yourself spend time with friends or on the phone, etc. As the saying goes, being lazy is the best reward for finishing tasks now. Say no to distractions. The strongest habit of highly successful people is their courage to say no to distractions. Successful people are just as prone to get distracted by social media and hangouts as you, but they square up and say no in order to work toward their goals. This does not mean that you can never indulge with social media presence or go out with friends, but prioritizing your work is important. Many people lack courage to say no to a hangout when they know they should be working. Once you've learned to say no, you will notice that you are moving towards your goals. It's so easy to get distracted by people who are chilling, but don't get distracted by people who are not on track. Handle one task at a time. When you feel motivated, don't lose reality. Highly successful people are realistic with their to-do lists. If you have spent a lot of your days procrastinating, then it's impossible to suddenly finish everything in a day. Start by trying to focus on one task at a time instead of overwhelming yourself with the thoughts of everything that's not finished. If the finish line feels too far away, don't look at it. Keep yourself focused on what you have at hand and make sure that you do your best while you're at it. Divide up goals. Once you have a bigger goal in mind, it's important that you divide it into smaller chunks. You need to know that all the steps that you must take in order to achieve what you want. Instead of moping around, get realistic. Divide your goal into what needs to be done each day, each week, each month, or in 6 months. A goal without a plan is just a wish. Oh, you can't expect everything you want to magically appear in front of you. It takes hard work, and every successful person in history put that hard work in to cash their goals as reality. Rewards and breaks. You cannot stay focused unless you give yourself sufficient breaks during the day. Every business, school, or workplace has breaks after a certain period because the body cannot function continuously for so long without resting. So, if you want to keep distractions at bay, it's essential to take breaks during the day or working period. It's important that you acknowledge your hard work because your mind is more likely to stay focused on goals when you give it breaks. Otherwise, you'll physically and mentally feel overwhelmed and burn yourself out. After each day of doing what you intended to do, reward yourself. An hour of social media, dinner with friends, or just staying in and chilling on your own. This will also energize you and motivate you to work the next day. Make sure that you take one day each week where you don't do anything. This is important in order to give you a break before you start working again. Learn from mistakes. Another thing that highly successful people do is learn from their mistakes instead of quitting. So what if you made a mistake? It only adds to your experience, and it teaches you how to maneuver things better. Every time you make a mistake, remind yourself that it's a blessing. The more mistakes you make, the more you take yourself on the right path. Every goal is an accumulation of lessons that you learned from your mistakes along the way. Rise above feelings. When we know what we need to do, our feelings can be contagious and deceptive. We can make ourselves believe that we can take a break after one day of working hard or 2 days of working hard. Consistency is the key to achievement. Don't argue with the plan you've made for yourself. It's only habitual to deny hard work because we've become accustomed to laziness. If you want to achieve something, don't be passive to feelings that lead to destruction of your plan. You'll have plenty of time for laziness, self-pity, and fatigue when you're done with your tasks. Love what you do. It is important that you look at hard work as a positive trait rather than something that strains you. When we force ourselves to work hard, it's natural to hate it because we cannot waste time anymore. Successful people love their work, and therefore it's easier for them to put in the effort that is needed to achieve their goals. Whenever you feel distressed because of all that you need to get done, remind yourself why you're doing it in the first place. This will help you develop a positive mindset towards your work. Manipulate energy. Self-disciplined people do not burn themselves out. Instead, they devote their effort to tasks that need energy. Sometimes people make mistakes of building up all their energy for a task that does not need as much energy, and later they feel tired or fatigued because they used it all up. In order to achieve your goals, know what demands your active motivation and what you can do without using effort. This is a difficult task for those who are starting from zero. Therefore, start by taking up one task and perfecting it until it becomes habit. Then add another and slowly build it up. Relax, but don't get too comfortable. Your mind will fool you into believing that you've done a lot when you achieve one goal, but it is not always true. In a nutshell, you can keep reading tips on self-discipline, but the real effort is to apply them in real life. Instead of looking around for more tips, start practicing them now. As perhaps one of his most famous quotes, Steve Jobs said, "If today were the last day of your life, would you want to do what you're about to do?" Always look ahead in the future. If you dream of success, then it's time to push away all your distractions and start working on your goals. In this video, we'll discover the strategies to building unbreakable focus. Whether you're a student, a parent, or a worker, you are aware of the importance of focus for everything that you do in your life. Whether there's a short-term plan to follow or a long-term goal, neither can be accomplished without focus. There are a few strategies that you can use to build unbreakable focus. Once you succeed in making these strategies a part of your life, you'll be much more in touch with yourself and you will experience a sense of accomplishment that nothing else can give you. Train your brain. This is the most essential part of the focus building process. Your brain controls everything that goes on in your body, whether it's something you think or something you see or it's something that you feel. Everything is controlled by your brain. This is why you need to have extensive control over your brain, and you need to train it to stay focused. Making a habit of repeating the tasks at hand to yourself again and again. Prepare yourself mentally for what you're about to do. Before you do anything, sit in a quiet place and let it sink into your brain that you're going to spend the next few hours on a specific task. This is a mind-strengthening exercise that you need to do to keep focused. If you train your brain well enough, it will not be sidetracked by any distractions after that. Plan it all out. Before you plan anything, you need to plan it all out. This does not only apply to everyday tasks, but it also applies to long-term tasks. For example, businesses that tend to have a business plan for a year or a semester have a better chance of increasing sales and making a mark. When you plan something, you lay out all the tasks in front of you. This makes it easier for you to determine which things require your utmost attention. Using this plan, you can also schedule the time for the completion of your task, and you can divide every task of yours into time intervals. When you know that you have to finish a particular task in a given time frame, you will be able to maintain your focus better. Rest for a while. The human body is not made for functioning constantly, which is why the concept of sleep is present in the body. No matter how much work needs to be done, you need to rest for a while. Take a half an hour break after every 4 or 5 hours that you work. This will help to freshen up your brain, and it will also give you time to relax. During this time, you can clear your brain and simply give time to yourself. By resting or taking breaks, you can quickly build up focus. This strategy has proven to be successful even by scientific methods. Workplaces have a lunch break and other breaks during the day so that employees can stay productive for the whole day. This is particularly important when you are doing an extensive activity. It becomes harder to focus, so you need to give your brain and body a break. In these few minutes or half hour, do what soothes your body. Listen to calming music or simply go for a walk in some calm neighborhood. Work with music. This strategy may not work with everyone, but it has shown to be successful in most cases. Listening to music is something that most people enjoy. You could try by playing your favorite music in the background while you work. It's better if the song is not too loud because that can cause distraction. The music must just not be too harsh on the ears, and it must not be too loud to distract you from the work that you're doing. However, people who are prone to dancing around with their favorite music on may not benefit from this strategy as much. Practice mindfulness. Using mindfulness to build focus is probably one of the best techniques. The key step involved is to sit in a quiet place and take a deep breath in. After that, you're required to hold your breath for a few seconds and then exhale. It's during this pause that you need to bring your mind back to the thing that it needs to be on. Your mind tends to drift away every once in a while because the lifespan of human concentration is merely 8 seconds. It's due to this reason that you need to make this exercise a habit so that you can benefit from it. It also serves as a reliever of stress and can rid the body of negative energy. Once you harbor positive energy in the body and you shift your brain's function to one task, your focus will automatically improve. Since we're all creatures of habit, integrating the right habits into your workday will help immensely. Once something becomes a habit, it also becomes easy. If focusing becomes a habit, it will come to you naturally and will let you have multiple benefits on a daily basis. Limit phone usage. A major distraction for many people is cell phone usage and portable technology. It can easily distract you from the task that you are supposed to do. Most students can relate to situations where they have assignments or pending projects, but instead, they're busy on their cell phones. So, while you're working, make sure that you put your phone away to avoid being distracted by incoming calls or messages. If you work on your phone, install an app which lets you block notifications from social media sites. In instances where you do not have any specific work to do on the phone, there can still be an inclination to use it for social media. This is another thing that can distract you from your task and ultimately your goals. Set a time for using your phone. Sometimes in the evening or after dinner is a good time slot for this type of activity. Most people are done with their day's work by dinner time and may use their phone as much as they want. Give constant reminders. Another way to get rid of distractions is to constantly remind yourself about your goals and aims that you hope to accomplish. Once you do that, you will be inclined towards doing what you actually need to do instead of wasting your time on unnecessary things. Any business person or individual hoping to make a mark constantly reminds himself of the goal he's hoping to achieve. A daily reminder first thing in the morning is a good place to start. Plan your day. Another way to keep distractions away is to plan your day beforehand. When you go to bed, make a habit to make a little plan for the next day in your mind. Keep the unnecessary things out of it and make sure that you sort out the things according to the amount of time you have on your hands and the task that needs to be done first. When you do so, your brain will slowly be trained to only pay attention to the tasks that you've planned for that day. It's also useful to have a planner or a diary that you can keep with you. People who have a diary are more organized and they tend to get more work done on time. When you make this a habit, you'll be able to stick to your schedule. It's the hardest not to deviate from the plan, but with practice, it can become second nature. This habit can lead to success, and your brain will automatically cancel out any task it finds unnecessary. That is, any task not mentioned in the plan. Having positive energy is very important as it energizes the body for functioning in the best way possible. In this video, we'll talk about why you should focus on one thing at a time. Multitasking is basically trying to split focus and divide your attention to getting multiple projects done at a time. While many believe that this practice actually gets more done, that may not always be the case. Instead, while trying to increase the quantity of jobs being performed, you may well be compromising the quality of every one of them. The result is hurting your own productivity while shifting focus from one task to the other without being fully attentive to any single one. Instead, here's a look at why you should only focus on one thing at a time. It gets things done. The best part about doing one thing at a time is that it gets things done. When you focus all your attention and energy to one thing, you ensure that the particular task will get done and it will be done on time. For you to accomplish any task, you need to have excessive focus. The thing about focus is that it gets diverted easily if there are more things on your mind. When you're doing one thing at a time, your focus is only on that one task, and it gets done in a timely manner. On the contrary, if you try to do three things at the same time, then your focus will be divided between them, and you'll not be able to do any single one of them. It leaves room for error. Everyone who does more than one thing at a single time knows that there's a much greater chance of error when you're doing more things at one time. On the other hand, when you give your undivided attention to one thing only, you can do it with much more accuracy. In fact, multitasking is actually switching between tasks, and when it boils down to concentration and productivity, the brain only has a limited amount. A common example is people using their cell phones while driving. Since you're not focusing on one thing only, there's a huge margin for error. Even in less impacting issues such as texting, this phenomenon can be seen. If you text 4 or 5 people at the same time, there's a likelihood that you will end up sending the wrong thing to the wrong person. It is due to this reason that you need to keep your focus on one thing only. Accomplishment of tasks should not be your only goal. Your goal should be to do the task in the best way possible with minimum error. To make this possible, it's essential to stay focused on one thing at a single time and not have a lot of different things to do at the same time. Higher success rate. If you focus on one thing at a time, you end up having a better chance of succeeding at something. This is not only applicable in the case of business or entrepreneurs, but also in any everyday situation. People who try to do one thing at a time are more likely to be attentive as well as those who try to do everything at the same time. In the same way, the probability of being successful is higher if you focus on one thing at a time. Businesses tend to focus on one thing for the time being, such as making their marketing effort more efficient or increasing employee productivity, instead of trying to do all of these things at once. It's not possible to juggle so many things at once, so the better approach is to take one step at a time. It does not deplete energy. If you have a habit of doing many things at one time, you will always be tired and will suffer from a lack of energy. This is why it's better to focus on one thing instead of trying to go for 3 or 4 things. The human brain may be like a machine when it comes to its functionality, but it has the human character of tiredness. It gets tired after long hours of activity and after doing so many things at the same time. When you try to do a lot of things at the same time, you are putting a lot of strain on the brain. As a result of this, the energy reserves of the body are exploited, which leads to a decrease in the energy levels of the body. You might feel that you are capable of doing many things at the same time, but the truth is that the internal functioning of your body is not entirely visible to you, so you cannot really know how an activity is harming the inside of your body. If you focus on one thing at a time, you can direct your brain to do the same thing for a precise period of time. When your brain only has to accomplish one task at a time, it can function more effectively. However, if you're trying to cook and clean and write an essay at the same time, the brain and body are going to have a hard time trying to keep up with the levels of your activity. If your work involves physical work, it can also tire out your body. And when the body is not active, there's no way you can focus on a task to make it more successful. When your glucose levels run out, your body function also decreases. It keeps distractions away. Another benefit of doing one thing at a time is that it keeps distractions at bay. When you try to do more than one task at a time, you'll find your brain wandering off to the other task that needs to be done. Using the example mentioned above, if you're trying to cook, but your brain is constantly focused on the content you need for your essay, it's not unlikely that you will be successful in any of your tasks. You may be able to cook and finish your essay, but the essay is not going to be the best you've ever written, and the cooking is not going to be satisfactory. When you focus all your attention and concentration onto one thing, you can easily accomplish your task as your brain is only thinking of the current task at hand. It lets you enjoy work. Let's admit it, if you're trying to juggle too many things at the same time, you will not be able to enjoy any of it. Just imagine writing emails while having dinner. There's no way you're going to enjoy dinner due to the distractions, and it's also probable that you will end up making mistakes in your emails. Similarly, at work or during studying, if you do not focus on one thing at a time, you will not be able to enjoy it. Most people do not enjoy their work because they're trying to manage a whole lot of tasks at once. When you start doing one thing at a time, you will see things that you like or enjoy in that task more easily. Conclusively, multitasking can prove to be pretty unproductive as lower quality work is produced, more mistakes are made, and both time and effort get wasted. In this video, we'll talk about online tools for laser focus. The hardest thing for most people is to live in the present moment. It's become difficult to stay focused on one task with so many distractions around us, but this type of lifestyle also affects our efficiency at the workplace as our mind wanders and we struggle to finish our tasks on time. However, while the internet has provided us with multiple distractions in the form of social media, it's also generated tools which can be helpful in organizing time and finishing tasks on time. Here's a list of some applications that will help you regain your laser focus and control your time instead of letting internet distractions control it. Stay focused. Stay Focused is an extension that works on Chrome. There are many ad blockers or website blockers that can be added to Chrome. However, this one is designed to help you get work done instead of spending hours on Twitter or Facebook. You can also set break times, which mean you can set times where you'll be allowed to enter websites, but as soon as your break time is over, you will not be allowed to enter them again. The nuclear option is for those who absolutely cannot resist their distractions. This will not let you enter any of the websites that keep you from working, and it cannot be deactivated until after the provided time period. Freedom. This is an application for web, PC, iOS, and Mac that can be installed to block out websites that distract you so you can pay attention to what needs to be done. Making to-do lists is fun, but getting everything done on your to-do list is a challenge when you have a habit of spending hours scrolling through your favorite social media. Freedom lets you manage schedules so you can block certain websites for a certain period of time. For instance, if you spend hours scrolling through Facebook, you can add it on the Freedom app to block it from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. while you finish your work. Freedom will not let you enter the land of distraction within the scheduled time. It also has a locked mode, which can be turned on to prevent from breaking the schedule and giving into your cravings for social media. When you have a habit of procrastination, it's impossible to avoid going back to that lifestyle, but with locked mode, you can easily avoid it. Focus Writer. This application is for those whose work requires a lot of writing. However, many writers struggle with focusing on their writing while working on their laptops. If you also struggle with staying focused on your work, then this is a great website which pops up a plain gray background to write on, and everything else is blocked away, including timer and date until your scheduled time is over. Focuswriter also includes features like word count and spell check, which are so crucial to writing jobs and assignments. It also has certain other features like setting a writing goal, which will bring gratification once you've achieved your goal. Besides that, the typewriting sounds with each key make it really interesting to work with Focuswriter. Concentrate. This application is designed to manage different types of tasks. Some people can start their day really motivated and get everything done, but after one task, they tend to get distracted before they could start the next task. Concentrate will block out the email client and browser to keep you away from BuzzFeed, YouTube, Twitter, etc. while you're writing. The Launch Application feature allows you to access only the applications that are needed for tasks that you are finishing. The Speak a Message feature allows you to record a message that will play on a set time and motivate you to concentrate on your work. This Mac application is designed to help you stick to your schedule for the day until you have finished everything. Be focused. The Be Focused application uses the Pomodoro technique because it has been proven that people tend to focus on their tasks better if they take breaks in between. Many people struggle to take a break from the fear of losing attention, but they end up losing focus with time. Be Focused will give you short breaks after 25 minutes of working and longer intervals before you switch from one task to another. You can create a list of tasks and track your progress as you move along. This iOS application is perfect if you don't want to lose enthusiasm as you progress. You will get time to rejuvenate your headspace and be ready to take up the next task efficiently. Forest. If you feel like your phone is chained to your hands and keep you from working, then the Forest app will help you leave it be while you finish your work. This is an interesting application that allows you to grow a forest. Whenever you activate it, you plant a tree, and the tree will die if you interrupt or deactivate. The Forest application has partnered with Trees for the Future, and every tree you make is actually being planted in the world. This will mean that each tree you plant will earn you virtual coins, which will be spent on plantations of trees. Hold. Hold is an application that is specifically designed for students and keeps an eye on their activity. If you struggle with studying or finishing your papers because you cannot resist your Instagram feed and Facebook comments, then this application is for you. For every 20 minutes that you spend away from your phone, you earn a point. When you have earned 15 points, you get a reward in shape of a raffle ticket or coffee from 7-Eleven. Many students who have used this application testified that their grades improved by using the Hold app. Noisely. Some people tend to focus better on their application when they are surrounded by an ideal ambience. Noisely provides ambient noises like seaside, bonfire crackles, a fan, etc. So you can customize a combination of your favorite sounds so you can have the perfect atmosphere to work in. Noisely is therefore an application for those who want to work in a particular environment, which will help them stay focused on the task. Noisely also has another feature inspired by Pomodoro techniques, which helps you divide your tasks, and a chromotherapy-inspired feature lets you choose a certain background color while you work. Balanced. Balanced is an application that helps you build your focus by creating a balance in your life. It's important that you maintain a healthy lifestyle that consists of reading, meditation, workout, walking, etc. Balance tracks your time spent on doing things you wish you did more. Some people struggle with reading books, while others cannot stay focused on yoga. Balanced will keep you motivated and include these tasks in your daily life and stay focused on them. Hocus Focus. Hocus Focus is another application made to improve your productivity by making your browser tab clutter-free. It's no secret that we tend to focus better when we have a cleaner environment. The same is true about working on your PC. Hocus Focus will close any website that you are not actively using. For instance, if you have a distraction application like Twitter, BuzzFeed, Facebook, etc. open in the background, then they will shut it off while you're working. A research shows that it takes 23 minutes for an average human brain to refocus, and a distracting application can make it even harder.